Yes, we should be live. So I'm saying good evening, Facebook family and friends. We're a bit late tonight, Monday, 6th of June, and my special guest tonight is Ben Chai. And let me check on, hi, let me check if we are live now, as we're zooming, streaming through Facebook, just to make sure that everyone is hearing us. I really will appreciate your support tonight. Yes, we're live. And please like and share, make a comment, ask your questions, and let's make this fun. My name is Galia Akimova. I'm your wellbeing concierge. This is the second month I'm broadcasting again after 3 years. I took a rest, and here we are. So, Ben Chai, why I invited Ben to be my guest tonight? On success, it's in our identity. We know each other, Ben, for quite a few years from London. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And Ben always been this charming, charismatic man, surrounded always with beautiful girls. And I was wondering.
And you were one of them, Galia.
Thank you. And I was wondering what exactly Ben is doing. So I have seen you in Global Woman Club as well, where it's women only. Well, sometimes men are allowed. So, and what I have noticed, because we are speaking about success, and that success is in our identity. And when you look at him, he's so ordinary guy, but he does extraordinary things. And the idea of my broadcasts is to introduce you with interesting people, ordinary people, who through their life, they are doing things which are so interesting. They do the business, and they do the business easily, so we can learn from them. But they're so full of life and surprises. And I want these people to share with us, with you, whoever it's online now, or later on replay, to learn from them how they do the stuff, how they making it happen. And so that is the reason why Ben is here. So Ben, how to introduce you? You are, he's a semi-professional or professional dancer. He is in love with Latino music and dances. He will say more about this. He's an author. He is in the property business very successfully. He is a TED speaker also, and he has he can teach English. He can teach dances also. What else? You know, you have done so many things, and recently you received, you know, quite a few awards. You're an actor also. So Ben, from where to start? Who are you?
You know, I love that question, who are you? Because we're, all of us are made up of so many different personalities. And we'll probably have newer personalities the more we develop ourselves. So it's if you want to know who I am, I'm an ongoing project. Yes.
Amazing.
And I'm an ongoing project which is made up of many, many people, and not just my own self and learnings, but when I meet people like yourself, Galia, and I just learned so much from you. And then I think, oh, maybe I got that wrong. I'm going to, you've given me a new process, a new thought. So probably I'm going to adopt the Galia methodology.
Thank you. I'm sure that you are learning. It is very true that even during one conversation we have with someone, and it doesn't matter who this person is, we're learning. If we're open, if our senses are open to listen and to learn. Because what I actually bump into lately that when you start speaking, even through the coaching, oh, I know this. And when you hear, I know this, it's mean I don't want to hear. I don't want to learn. And it is with you, I can see it's not in this way. And that's why you have the gift to communicate easily with people. And this gift, I believe, brought you a lot of success into the businesses you run.
I think you're right. The ability to connect with people is very, very important, which is something that I share in the TED talk called Social Magnetism, which everyone can watch. It's a great resource out there. There's no sales or anything in it, and it just shares 3 major components to help you connect with people and have those great people in your life that you can learn from and grow from, as well as people who will support you when you go through good times as well as the bad times. So both. Very, very, you're absolutely right. And you were asking just before we started where in the world I've been to. So I've been to roughly over 70 countries and
70 countries. And that's what I share with you, your multinational, multicultural soul.
I've danced salsa in Bulgaria as well.
Here you go.
And been skiing in one of your mountains.
So you love. What I found that you're really fond of Eastern Europe, because you've been in Czech Republic, in Poland, also in Bulgaria.
Yeah, that's true. Slovakia.
Okay.
I'm not sure they can be considered Eastern Europe, but Pristina, where's that?
Yes, okay.
Is Albania considered?
Albania, it's not Albania, it's the Balkans.
It's the Balkans.
Berela Sule, it's from Albania.
Yeah, Croatia, Slovenia. Yeah, a lot. Do you know what I like most about Eastern Europeans? They've got a really good family vibe. Yeah,
it's true.
Compared to the Western, I think in Western, that the Western people, I don't mean to be rude to any of my Eastern European brothers and sisters, but I think they're more open and creative, but they're a little bit more selfish compared to my Eastern European brothers and sisters. And I really like that family mentality, that community connection, rather than this me, which sometimes I find overwhelming in the Western culture.
I think that it is actually...
Is that fair? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I spent over 19 years in UK. So I'm pretty much aware of that culture. But, we have the similarities with Chinese, because you had the Chinese, Malaysian Chinese background. And in my life, I had the Chinese partner from Hong Kong. And I know that the family for you guys, it's also very strong, and it's foundational.
It is a very different culture. It's a very ancient culture where the younger people need to show respect to the older people. I think that's abused a little bit by some of the older people. So, like, some of the older people are not nice people, and they're demanding respect. So I like the younger kind of perspective that the respect has to be both ways.
True.
But there's nothing that beats experience, which is something the older generation generally have over the younger people. The younger people may be cleverer, more modern, they know a faster way to do things, but they don't have the experience of life and the different kinds of personalities that you have to deal with.
I agree with you. And here we meet different generations, and that is how we help each other, we support, we learn from each other. It's more difficult for grown up people to learn from their children and from the younger generation. I can see this. it's huge resistance, but it is.
And I think one of it certainly is a difficult thing for me about remaining open, because sometimes you've gone through a situation so many times that when somebody comes to a new perspective on a situation, you think you know it you know it all, and you don't mean to say, look, I know it already, but sometimes you actually do, because you've been, and you don't mean to block the other person, but you accidentally do that instead of embracing what they're saying and saying, look, I'll have a look at it. Yeah.
Yes. To be open and with respect, as you mentioned at the beginning. So let me dig a little bit more into the property business, because looks like that whenever you're in the world, the property business make the most of the money to people who are millionaires today, even yesterday. So everybody made in the past, even during the recession, the last 2 years, I mean, lockdown, people made a lot of money from the properties.
So I wouldn't say they've made the most money through property. I think it's the most stable investment you can have. There's a lot of property investors who've lost a lot of money. There's mistakes that I made in the early days and I lost money. So I wouldn't say that that's the, and it was only in the last probably, so I've been in property for 30 years, 3 decades, but it was only in the last,
congratulations.
It was only in the last 10 years that I made an equivalent to what I was earning in a job or a business. So my degree is in maths and computer science, and I'm really a techie at heart, who also learned marketing. So I have a diploma in marketing. And so on. In the early days, it's a bit dated, my knowledge. I don't want people to think I'm a marketing guru, but so over time I learned business, and so I've got that analytical side mixed in with a creative side, which you need for business. So I probably made more money in business than in property, but it's only recently that my investments and the ongoing investments have started to now move exponentially. So if people are out there who are interested in finance, the best thing that you can learn about is something called the compound effect. So for example, if you buy a property every 2 or 3 years, and you don't need your own money to buy property. That's how I used to do it. I thought I needed deposits, but there's so many different ways, so you don't need your own money to do it. But if you bought one every 2 or 3 years, you probably won't get to earn as much as your salary for, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, unless you were doing it every day. If you found a way to buy, which you can do through other people's money, then you won't be a millionaire overnight. I think I think people are very misguided. They're thinking like that. So my team at Propertunities we've been going for 5 years now, and we do have £1 million deals in properties, but the amount of money we owe on it through mortgages isn't equivalent to £1 million. The asset base that we have is probably in the multi-millions, but if we sold everything and paid back all our investors and so on, we wouldn't have £1 million.
All right. Yeah. So what would you advise to people who are thinking to start in the property business, or they are startups?
Not just property business, any business.
Okay.
I would say get some education, because if you don't, it'll cost you. And so when I started, there was no education in property. I started a decade before there was ever any educational property. So I had to learn by experience. And at the time I was told that investing in property was terrible, because my family had always lost money in property. So I had to learn the hard way, if you like, about what works and what doesn't work. Through education, my daughter learned to do it in 6 months. Right, which has taken me, a lot of time. So get some education is the first thing I would say, whether it's property or investment in the stock market, or even, like I'm an author. I've either written or co-authored or been part of. I think I counted roughly 32 books.
32. This is wonderful. Can you share with us a few of them? do you have with you now,
Oh,
or just?
I've got one that I co-authored with my son called Social Magnetism.
Social magnetism, yes.
So that was, hold on, let me just turn off my background. And then you'll be able to, that's the problem about these virtual backgrounds.
I know.
You hide the photographs behind you. So this one is called Social Magnetism. This is one I co-authored with my son because he's an amazing writer. And
congratulations.
And that did actually quite well. The one that made me the most actually was a technical book for Microsoft, which probably directly and indirectly brought in roughly $1 million in income, but not all in one go. Again, people think you get all of this money, but over time. And the reason that did well, so Microsoft paid me a flat fee. There's no royalties on the book, but they also got me on stages to teach from the book. And when I was on those stages, people called up the company I was working with, which I was a director. It was a technical company to do consultancy with. So we had deployments for Citibank and United Bank of Switzerland, many large banks, and those contracts were worth a lot of money. So indirectly and directly, it made us a lot.
It's amazing. And to be honest, knowing you, I wouldn't think that you have mathematical and technical degree and you are that good with numbers, because you're so artistic. And we will open that page, but you're a very creative person, and to combine all this personality in one, it's just amazing.
So thank you. If I focus on the writing, so if people are not interested in property, and they might be interested in writing, the stats say that only the top 10% make any money, but that's for fiction. If you're writing non-fiction, and you like, say you wrote a book like Social Magnetism, and maybe you're not a well-known author. So I was already an editor ages ago, and I developed so many people who would follow me on writing in different areas. But if you wrote, like, I don't know, say not a book this thick, but even a smaller book of maybe 10,000 words. So 10,000 words is you writing 500 words a day, and you can see that in 2 days you'd have 1,000. So 20 days it would take you to do that. And if you wanted to write 250 words a day, that's 40 days. And if you only made, say, I don't know, £200, I'm talking pounds, call it euros,
sure.
A year. But if you wrote, I don't know, 50 of these, 200 euros times 50, it's just income that will come into your account. So 10,000 euros. It's not a lot of money, maybe, to you, but every year, and without you having to rewrite stuff. And you can, like, I've already got ideas I've had loads of ideas to do different versions of this. So like Social Magnetism for university students, Social Magnetism just purely in business, Social Magnetism to attract your life partner, right? So you can always have these like little spin-offs to create your brand. And
you're getting better and better with any
better with your book. Following increases, people will want to see your backlog of stuff. And I worked out actually that if you were not really famous or anything, that if you wrote a certain amount, that you could, over time, like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, everyone says, oh, they're trillionaires or whatever it is, billionaires, but they didn't really make their money till their 50s. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Over time, they're just building things up. So, yeah.
I hear you and I understand what you are saying, but
that's
it is
why
very
people learning the compound effect, because then they won't try and look at Ben, he looks like I don't know how old I look these days, but but actually I'm a lot older than I look, and it's the compound effect that helped me get to where I am, so that my property portfolio through the compound effect, that I can live off the earnings from that today. Was I couldn't have done that a while back. You know, people would say, oh, but you have all these properties. Yeah, but I'm managing them. I'm learning about the property business and so on.
It's true. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's true that with Asian people, it's very difficult to guess their age. Very difficult. So you're really blessed. And as I used to work in the spa industry, and we had a lot of Asian ladies as a client, and I always been, speaking with them, what is the reason, and trying to discover what is the reason behind, because the collagen, the quality of collagen, it's very important. And I came to the conclusion, because you in the main meal you eat a lot of soya, which is source of the estrogen, and improve the collagen, and also the rice, and the rice oil, it's one of the oils, actually important oils, which also the rice works as well as can be for our diet, works well on the collagen, and it is great antioxidant properties, particularly the rice oil. So
I didn't know that, because I read somewhere, sorry, we're going off topic here, but I read that rice can be arsenic if you has a bit of arsenic, so you could, if you had too much of it. So anyway, I've been trying to eat meat and vegetables only recently, to get rid of some
changing the diet. Now I will try to show some pictures of yours, and
right.
Let's see what I will be able to bring on the screen. There you go. So yes, is
all right. Okay.
So as I believe everybody can see that.
Yeah. Do you know, I've never seen that photograph.
No.
Where did you get that one from?
I took this from Facebook. So can you tell us who these ladies are? So I can see Deborah J. Kelly. Yeah,
Deborah J. Kelly. She's a reality TV presenter, and she's at many events and presents the events. Yulia, she I think she's Romanian, and she works as a social for social justice.
Okay. So what is this award here? What is?
So that's an award that I got, but we were sharing it for some work I'd done with the homeless people.
Homeless, and
yeah, this is COVID. I was just going out on the streets and
congratulations,
doing stuff, but also I was trying to help friends' businesses because they were suffering. So I was trying to get them interviews on somebody else's, different people's podcasts, a bit like yours, so they can get some social proof for their business and credibility. Yeah, that's right.
That is amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. So let me see. And what about this one?
Yeah, in fact, I think that's the same award.
Heroes Awards.
Yeah, that's the same award.
Right.
From that event. And the lady who nominated me, her name's Razia. She has a charity that helps women who've gone through domestic violence. And so I don't know, I think she adopted me to be in their group. It's one of those groups that's only women, and it's a really strange thing because she lost her DJ, and I've had 20 years of broadcasting because I used to do something called hospital radio in the UK, and have worked with some of the broadcasters in Radio 1, which is one of the top radio stations. Yes. And anyway, so I said, look, I can do this for you. She said, but it's a women's only group. They can't see you and you can't look at them. I said, okay, well, I can be under the table under a blanket. And so she tried to get somebody else, but she couldn't find them. So I ended up doing it, and I was under this blanket, and she told all the ladies I was there, she said, just so everyone knows, are you comfortable? There's a man in the room. He's under the blanket. He's not going to look. And they all asked to see me. And so I just wanted to, who was this guy who would do this crazy thing? Anyway, she nominated me for this award.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So it is a doing the work and having a fun at the same time. What about a little bit more about the dancing and the everything around us? Because you had awards there as well, I think, and you can dance professionally with your team, which are amazing. I didn't have time actually to get the picture.
Yeah. So we're actually an amateur group. We're not a professional group. We don't get paid money for it. I am a qualified dance teacher in some genres, and I used to be paid for teaching, but I started traveling a lot, so I don't do that. And again, I feel my skills are a bit dated compared to a number of the scenes that happened at the time. So I'm in a performance group. I love dancing. It doesn't matter whether it's Latino or it's you know, you can go to a nightclub and listen to 70s, 80s music. And I just love translating music into
into performers.
Well, into movement. I guess I'm a bit of a performer myself, but in the clubs I will go into a corner and dance, and people will just, I don't know, and they end up seeing me in my little corner, my dark corner somewhere, and start copying me or whatever it is. So I just like dance, and I think it's probably because in many ways I'm not very emotional, and it's a way for me to translate my emotions into something else.
It's amazing.
Growing up, you know, I wasn't really allowed to show emotion, and
it's very much Chinese family,
and would get into trouble. So I was bullied a lot, and I wasn't allowed to show any emotion and stuff. And I didn't want to live, actually. That's in my TED talk. If you want to hear the terrible things that happened in my childhood and how I overcame it and became this.
But how did you overcome it? You know, you opened the lid. So can you share with us a little bit? How did you overcome it? Because there's so many today young people, they have difficulties with communications. What they communicated.
So I was bullied a lot, and because I was bullied, I didn't have a good self-image. I also had eczema. I still suffer a little bit from it, and I had it all over my face when I was born. So I would, even on very hot days, I'd cover up my arms and my legs with clothes because I had eczema on it and stuff. But sometimes, you know, as a kid, you have to wear special sports outfits, and I was told how ugly I was by some family members and school.
I'm sorry.
And so I just didn't have a good self-image and self-worth. Just a whole bunch of things that happened to me. So that's where I came from. But after that, it sounds weird, but I had this encounter with God, yeah, and became a Christian. I don't really tell many people about it these days. You know, I just kind of get on with my life because I do things which, you know, people would feel is not very Christian. Like I might have too much to drink sometimes, so I just don't like being judged.
No one is perfect.
Just saying, yeah. So that kind of changed my life. There's a piece in the Bible that says that everyone, you're wanted not because your parents had sex or you were accidentally born. Maybe there was a rape involved or something, but because God just wanted you for you, and that's it.
And you're beautifully, wonderfully made.
Correct. Yes. You're beautifully and wonderfully made, no matter whether you're covered in eczema or you're obese or whatever it was. Yeah. And so that kind of started changing my life. I read that book like several times. The first time I just had no clue. This is rubbish. I have no clue what's going on. But the more I read it, you know, stories that behind the story, you look at the meaning, and then you read the story again, you see what another. I don't know if anybody's gone to see a film and they loved it, and they go and see it a second time and they think, oh, I didn't get that, because you see a bit more. And then you go the third time and you think what you thought before. Well, that's what the Bible was like. And it taught me a whole bunch of stuff about living and about business. Yeah. So nothing to do with, hey, you're saved if X, Y, Z, but just about how to live your life. And that helped. Oh, a lot of that helped me, and that sent me down a world where I was very interested in learning about other people's perspectives on business and life. So I read tons and tons of it. I don't read as much as I do as I did then, but I would probably be reading at least a book every 2 weeks or a month at the time. Yeah, and that helps a lot. I also met, the Christians that I was with, they were really good people, and the church I was at, I didn't have any money, so every Sunday a family would adopt me and make me a nice meal. So I just learned a lot about other kinds of people who weren't bullies.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Ben. Thank you, because I believe it's a message for many people who needs to hear this, and to understand that once when we find our identity on our Creator and He becomes our anchor, many troubles disappeared, not immediately, but over the time disappeared. And because you're very much into the self-development, did you find that the Bible is the base of many of the teachings?
Yes. There's a lot of business books that have some, I mean, they don't mention the Bible or anything, but they have very biblical concepts in there. That's why I'm saying I think the challenge with the Bible, it's just a hard book to read, But
that's why we need the guidance. And
yeah, but the thing is, it's a bit like some of the business coaches. Their guidance isn't really that great, and they're using, and I feel that not, I've got some great preachers and pastors in my life, and I've got some terrible ones who I have no clue why they're even in the church.
I understand. So, it's different. It's different subject.
I think this is why Jesus said when some of the disciples said we need to get rid of all these people, and he said the problem with that is when you just go and try and get rid of the bad people by accident, you'll be getting rid of some good people. So that's why he had a different. My perspective only had a different perspective. It's a bit like this phrase we have about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So that there's a there's a challenge, and I think yes, the challenges I had going through in terms of self-worth got dealt with as a result of that, but I had newer challenges. So I don't think God removes all the challenges in your life.
No, He doesn't. How are we going to learn? How are we going to become a diamond He made us to be?
When your best friend or your parents die or whatever it is, and it's not what that's about. And I think people think if they become a Christian or something, like, okay, everybody's going to be happy, all their family's going to be happy. It's not
happy clappy.
It's not really what
it is not. We live in real life. But what your message will be to young people? I always ask this question almost by the end, because we're almost the end of our time. So young people, they're on the crossroad, they're just finishing their secondary school, their unit, and they still not sure which path to take. Or to the one who are feeling really lost in life and depressed, they're coming from different families, what your advice will be?
So first of all, surround yourself with good people who will, by good I mean will support you. Please watch my TED talk. It'll teach you so much. It's like 12-13 minutes of your life, and it teaches you how to to surround yourself with good people. It really does. The second thing is, like, I was even though I have a degree, I was lost. I had no clue what I wanted to do. So do anything. Have a go at something. Maybe something you're passionate about, or maybe like it just came along. Somebody just said, hey, I think you'll make a good this. Have a go at that. Yeah. Now, it might be that you don't like it, so you can always move on from that. But have a go at it. Now, by you having that go, maybe someone just says, you know, it's your first job, you're a waiter, okay? Have a go at it. See what you like. You don't know who you're going to meet. So one of the most wealthy guys I met, he didn't have much. He didn't have a degree or anything, and he was offered a job to sweep the
streets.
He swept the rooms of a go-kart. A go-kart is a little this thing that,
yeah.
But there's some wealthy people would come along, and he would listen to them, and they would give him advice. Now, over time, he all he did was save his money, and he started taking their advice and investing in things. And that over time, he not only did he learn a lot, and so he got promoted because he was consistent in the sweeping. He was then moved to be a manager and so on, but he started investing, and today he actually has a lot of properties himself, and for him to give back, he educates people, young people who are lost, and actually some of them maybe have just come out of prison, by using a makeshift BMX bike track in the back of a garden. And he teaches them to do that. And some of them, in fact, several of them now represent the UK in the BMX Olympics. But that was his way of using his funds to give back. So
it's amazing.
I'd say surround yourself with good people. And some of those good people may not be your age. They may be 50, 60, 70-year-olds, but they will educate you on life, and they will educate you on people. Watch my TED Talk and learn about the compound effect. That's when you do something little every day, just one thing little every day, but over time it builds up into this massive bank of experience that you'll have in your life, that you can then use later on if somebody offers you something that perhaps you didn't think you could do, but now you've gained all this experience. It's a bit like, I used to do some contract work for this guy who had a company that invested in the stock market. I did their tech, and I had to go away for a couple of months. So I had a friend look after his company. And when I came back, he sat me down a couple of weeks later and he said, Ben, I don't understand. The guy you had to come and look after our systems, he's got 10 points. He'll do this and this and this, and then he'll fix it. You just go straight there. How do you know that's the problem? And it's just experience. So that I didn't need to go through I just knew what was wrong. And the same with you. When you have those little pieces of things, maybe you start like the guy in the go-kart who just started sweeping, but he met so many people and he engaged with them, that over time he gained this experience that moved him to management, which then moved him to also investing, and one day becoming this multimillionaire who's now training athletes, yeah, in the BMX Olympics for the UK.
Thank you so much.
For Bulgaria, I don't know.
Thank you so much for your advice. So we have to leave the link to your TED Talk, to the books actually in Amazon. And do you do any do you teach young people as well, or anyone and for the property business, or everyone who wants to come up with the property portfolio? Can you help them?
I don't these days.
Okay.
I used to be one of Microsoft's top business and tech educator, but I don't really do that these days. I'm working at being an actor, actually.
You're working to be an actor, and this is your next project or
That's
your
my
very
next project.
very now project?
So my family's a weird
Very
family.
now
So
project.
my family's a weird family. Like if we do something, we need to get really high up, and then once we've done that, we'll go on to the next thing.
You wouldn't be Chinese, you
So
know.
we focus on one thing at a time. So
I
the
know.
property world, we've got, you know, I've got sufficient passive income, and so now it's like, it's not the best thing. If you want to be a billionaire, just stay in one field. If you want to make 100 million, just stay in one field. Yeah. But my personality, I get bored after getting to a certain level, so it doesn't suit me.
So now we're going to watch the new series of 007, Agent 7.
I think the new 007 is a lady, no?
No, I don't know that.
I think that's who's going to be the new 007. I could be wrong, but
okay,
yeah.
That is interesting change.
Yeah,
wonderful. Ben, I really appreciate you being my guest today. We started a little bit late with you, and perhaps
my fault, Galia.
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I'm really great that you agree. I know how busy schedule you have. Not a problem at all. But I really, with any guest I'm having, my hope and my idea is your messages to reach out to people who really need it, and they to be able to hear and to get the message, and whoever wants to contact with you, so we will I will forward and people to approach you directly. I'll be very happy. So thank you everyone for watching us.
Thank you everyone. Yeah.
And please like and share, put your comments down, ask your questions, and if you have questions directly to Ben, you can approach him as well. So we leave down where you can find him on Facebook, Instagram as well. Anything else? So
no, just definitely write your questions to and so on, and I'll definitely reply to them. But funnel them through Galia, because she'll make sure I do it.
Thank you. And what about if they want to dance and if they want to have nights out fun with Latino dancing?
Well, you're in Bulgaria at the moment, right?
Yes, I'm in Bulgaria. Yes.
So I know certainly Sofia is the capital.
Yes.
So I know it's quite big, the Latino dance community there.
Yes, I know it's very popular in Bulgaria. But what about in UK? Because I know quite a few clubs.
UK. So I do a lot of. In fact, actually, 2 of the teachers in the UK are Bulgarian.
Ah.
That I work with. Yeah.
There you go. Wonderful.
There's a lot in London. I used to be the editor for the National Dance magazine, which covered all the salsa places. Definitely reach out. If you're in London, londonsalsa.co.uk has a lot of the events that happen, and also in social media there's tons of these Facebook that shows the events, or reach out to me. I can help find places around you.
Wonderful. So follow Ben on Facebook and Instagram. We'll put the links.
Yeah, Instagram, definitely.
Yes, and there are plenty of pictures so they can get more familiar about your life.
Yeah, the Instagram has a lot of business content for those of you who are just starting out in business. It'll be really helpful to you. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching us, and thank you for following me and following Ben as well. Thank you for being such a support. I really hope and that this is in your favor, what we're doing. And this is another word. Yeah, that was cool. So wishing you wonderful, fruitful, blissful week ahead and month. Also, as we started the new month, it's getting hot in the weather, but I wish you to be very hot in the business and with your income as well. So my name is Galia Akimova. I am your wellbeing concierge, Ben Chai, London. So see you next Monday. See you next Monday.